Okay? I know that some of you think you're bad at math because you can't do this math as fast as I can. Guess what? If I were to go play Fortnite with you guys, you would kick my ass. I'd be dead 5 seconds in. I'm choosing something, okay? If we had to have a texting race, you would win. Right? If we had to compare Insta followers, you would win. Why? Because I don't practice Instagramming. How do you think anybody practices? If this is your tweet, drank a juice box today, or your Insta, you think anyone's going to follow it? No. But if you tell a story, people start to follow it, right? I know this because 5 years ago, some punk-ass kid in summer school started tweeting the stuff I'm saying now. And guess what happened? His followers went through the roof because his 5 followers are like, man, you're so funny now. I retweeted this. Was it his? No, it was mine. No. Because I'm a grown-up. And I'm not a grown-up moron like Maxime Bernier or Donald Trump. Anyways. Huh? Maxime Bernier? Canada's Donald Trump? Okay. Oh, yeah, Maxime Bernier. Canada's Donald Trump. Keep those immigrants out of here. They got a lot of nerve. That's what he said, Gurleen. Tweeted it right out. Stop immigration to Canada. But he was going to be our leader. Came within 2% of leading the Conservative Party, who are sadly going to win the next election. All right. Luckily, we're only going to get somebody who's almost as racist and homophobic as Maxime Bernier as Prime Minister. Not quite that racist and homophobic, just almost. And there is 3 and 4. Oh, I'm sorry. Did anybody want to talk about either 1 or 2? Other than all the talk we've already done about 2? More than one of you asked how to check this answer. More than one of you. Right? And I showed a bunch of people, but I didn't show everyone. All of you should be able to do this. M is this, right? So that is M. Negative 6 times 49 over negative 6. 6M. What happens to the negative 6's? Cancel. So now I need the square root of 49, which is, of course, 7. This move, again, for a great many of you, is like some kind of magic that numbers disappear. They're not disappearing. It is negative 6 times 49 over negative 6. Obviously, you can factor that out. Right? Okay. There is 3 and 4. Now, M in number 3 didn't get us a pretty answer, did it? Right? It didn't get a nice, perfect number. Yeah? But we can still do it, right? Because what is the square root of 28 squared? 28. 28 minus 3 is 25. Square root of 25 is 5. Right? Now, if you wrote it in simplified form, if I was marking on the 4-point scale, right, this would get you 3. I, of course, am charitable. I would give you 3.5 for that, because especially if you've done all your checking. This would get you to the 4 if you remembered to simplify. Everybody cool? Going once? Going twice? Going thrice? Okay. Normally somebody asks there. Yeah, thank you, Zach, for helping me out with the joke. Because that's usually when someone puts their hand up. There is 5 and 6. Why does negative 16 have the tick? Because that's the only one that works. Does 4 work? No. And there is 6. Why does 3 have the x? It doesn't work. Why does 10 have the circle? Because it does. Everybody good? Now, I know I called this an assignment, but as you can see, it's really difficult to mark, right? If I asked you guys to mark this, people would be like, well, I just put a negative here and not there. Should I give myself 3 out of 4? Right? I don't want to have that argument. Okay, I really don't. It takes too long. Yo.
And so for 5, there is no answer?
No, the answer is negative 16 for 5.
Okay.
That's why it's got the tick. Because negative 16 squared is 256, right? Minus 12 times 16 is 192, which is 64. Root of 64 is 8. Which I have right here, right? Oh, wait. Oh, no, 4 works too. They should both have a tick. Because 4 squared is 16. 16 plus 48 is 6. Yeah, I don't know why 4 doesn't have a tick. They're both right. Oh, now something that a great many of you have trouble with here is restrictions. I showed this to my good friend Preston. X squared plus 12x, that's a great x, idiot, 12x, has to be greater than or equal to 0, yes? Now the way to do this is we remember that the greater than or equal to sign is really just an equal sign, yes? So we solve this. What would you do with that side? If this was grade 10 and this wasn't there, what would you do with x squared plus 12x? You'd factor out the x, yes? And you would have x plus 12, yes? And that would have to equal 0 or be greater than 0, yes? Now, when I show you this, x plus 7 and x minus 1 has to equal 0, we know that it's either x plus 7 has to equal 0 or x minus 1 has to equal 0, right? That's how we do it. Well, how is this any different? X plus 7, the first factor would have to equal 0. What's my first factor here? X. So x must be greater than or equal to 0, right? And x plus 12 must be greater than or equal to 0, so x must be greater than or equal to negative 12. Now let's stop a moment. Now that we know our restrictions, right? Would negative 5 work? Is negative 5 greater than negative 12? Okay, so negative 5 plus 12 is 7, right? But what would go here? Negative 5. That would get me negative 35, wouldn't it? Would that be allowed under a square root sign? No. So that is why we have to check both restrictions. Everybody good? It's not just enough to be greater than negative 12. It's going to have to be greater than 0, right? Cool? Cool? Okay. And then the bottom two are right there. There's the first one, and there is the second question written out by hand on this one. Because every time I tried to paste it, it didn't work. Are we all Gouda?
No. Can you do this second one?
8, this one? This one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to where it's tidier. There. Okay. Do I have an isolated radical? Left or right? Left. So I'm going to go... I'm going to square that to get what? 5r minus 9. If I square this side, what do I got to do to the right side? Square it. So this is going to be the root of r plus 4 minus 1. Yes? FOIL, right? Equals root times root. What's that? R plus 4, yes? Minus the root, yes? So negative 2 root r plus 4. And negative 1 times negative 1? Positive 1. What do you see there? R's, like terms. What do you see there, and there? Numbers, like terms. So and what do you see there? Oh, that should have been yellow, son of a... What do you see there? A radical. We've got to isolate the radical. How do you isolate something? You collect all the other like terms. So, where is that positive r going? Over to the left to be with this other r. So that is going to be minus r, and now I have 4r, yes? Where is this positive 4 going? Over to be with the 9, so it's going to become minus 4. Where's this positive 1 going? Over with the 9 to become minus 1. To get what? Negative 14 equals negative 2 root r plus 4. Now, if I gave you negative 2x equaled anything, gobbledygook, what would you do with that negative 2? I would divide by negative 2 to isolate x, and I would divide gobbledygook by negative 2, right? So, why would I do something different here when it looks different? Is there any reason mathematically to do something different because it looks different? No. So I'm going to divide by negative 2. I'm going to divide by negative 2. What is 4 divided by negative 2? Negative 2r. What's negative 14 divided by negative 2? No. Positive 7 equals the root of r plus 4. Yes? Is the radical isolated? What do I do? Square it. R plus 4 equals negative 2r plus 7. Negative 2 times negative 2 is? No. 4r squared. Minus 14, negative 28r. 7 times 7, positive 49. Collect your like terms. 4r squared minus 29r plus 44, right? And then you would factor. When you do that factoring, you end up with a fraction. You still have to check it. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you something else. When you do the factoring, if you use the method I like, which ends up with fractions, yes? Right? If you get to this point, and this isn't the answer to this is just separate. If you ended up with x plus 4 over 2 and x plus 3 over 6, you would simplify that to 2. You would simplify that to 1/2, yes? Now, if we were factoring, what would I have to do with that 2? I'd have to slide it to the front, yes? But I'm not really factoring here, am I? I'm looking for what x is. If I told you it was x plus 2 and x plus 1 equals 0, what are the x's? Minus 2 and minus 1. So here I have x plus 2 and x plus 1/2. What are the x's? Negative 2 and negative 1/2. You don't need to remember to do that slide move because it's already in this form, and you know all you do there is switch the signs. Everybody good? All right. And finally, if we were marking this, which is the one there that doesn't work? Is it A, B, or C? It is C. Why? What is it, Sam? Root x plus 8 equals negative 7. Is that possible? The only way we could finish this is if we squared both sides, yes? And that allows this to work. Because then I have x plus 8 equals 49. X equals 49 over, 49 minus 8, which would be 41. But that won't work in here. Right? The only reason we could get to here is if we squared. But in the actual equation, there is no squaring, is there? So that's why this root is extraneous. Yeah? Yeah? Okay. So, like I said, this stuff is kind of complex to mark yourself. Okay? Because there's so many places I should be offering you marks that aren't part of the actual answer, yes? So I'm letting this go as an assignment. All right? Now, I believe, and it feels to me like if I were to say right now, you know what, you all kick ass, you're writing your test on this tomorrow, I would see a lot of this. That's what it feels like to me. That's the vibe I am getting from you people. Am I right? All right, let's practice a few more. You've got a bunch of blank space. This blank space is here for a reason. Because let's be honest, this is really, for most of you, the most complex math you have done, right? I mean, if you're from another country, maybe you've gone further, but for those of us that have been through math in Canada, this is the most complex thing you have done. What's more complicated than this?
In the Wheelhouse class in grade 9, we did quadratics, or we tried to,
Oh.
and then we couldn't do it, and then we couldn't do it, and that was our...
Okay. So this is the most complex thing you have done that you've been expected to do. Yeah, we know how you feel about surface area, Brittany. Crystal does like to paint. Crystal likes to paint the floor under the building. She likes to get under that building, jack it up, and paint the floor just to protect it from what's under there. Just to make sure. Yeah. Okay. Let's try a couple. Let's try. We've already done that one. We've already done that one. Let's try this one. Oh, no, I think you've already done that one. Have you guys seen this one? Have you seen that one? Okay. I'm going to save you the trouble of restrictions. Okay? X has to be greater than or equal to 0. So don't even worry about checking the restrictions. But of course you know that, yes? Because if X is anything negative, 5 times anything is going to be more than 4, right? Okay, so let's try that one. For those of you that are quick, should I put up a couple of more now? All right, let's get... Ooh. And in that one, X would have to be greater than or equal to what? Just by looking. N would have to be greater than or equal to what? No. 1, right? If there's anything less than 1, this is going to be negative. Number 3. Ooh. This one's tricky. What's X? What's my restriction on X? Just by looking. Yeah! And let's do 3 more. Ooh. That is a Z. That's why there's a cross through it. It's not that kind of cross. Excuse me. I just want to check something. How about... I think we might have already done this one, but who cares? There's 5 to practice on. It is 10:33. That should take us nicely to the end of the day. Ooh. I'm going to pause. Didn't get them written down. They are indeed recorded. When you take a picture of the board, it's like half of my head in it. What if I don't want my picture taken? All right, I'll allow it. Did I tell you guys about the book?